Salutations, utopians. Um, Hope all is well in your world. Um, Want to talk about a really serious topic that seems to only be getting worse. Um, the relationship between pro sports and uh, betting. Um, you know, this is big business. $500 million to $2 trillion estimate. I don't know how lucrative this industry is, and now you're seeing. And this video is inspired by and rooted for the behind the latest news with Michael Beasley, who's under federal investigation. And literally, the announcement was a day after Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was relieved of all accusations that was levied against him. As you all know, there's already has been players who've been prosecuted. Former Toronto Raptor Jonte Porter right now is waiting for his sentencing. He had a parlay that was betting 80,000 to make $1 million. Clearly, when greed takes over, and I guess it got on the Fed's radar, and now he's waiting for his sentencing. He pled guilty. It's estimated he'll be facing about 40 to 50 months, if I'm not mistaken. But it's crazy because Beasley was on a famous streamer Neo's stream, big time Twitch sensation. And one of the interesting things he said in that clip was about 4 years ago, the NBA changed from being a basketball league to being sports and entertainment. They added the entertainment factor, which absolves them from certain fiduciary duties, I guess, so to speak, in terms of integrity. And he was talking about how it should just stick to basketball. And it's becoming, abundantly clear things are off, and you're seeing FanDuel, you're seeing DraftKings promotions on jerseys, on courts, and it has reared its ugly head. And it's just another instance where money is not being a tool anymore, but being a detriment, and it doesn't have the same meaning and value that it once had due to this poor choice, I think, ultimately. Obviously, the NBA has unlocked the money glitch, the infinite money glitch, but at what cost? And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. This might seem like it's virtue signaling, but even in the product, it's becoming more and more naturally rampant. When a player's having a bad game, commentary about the league being rigged. Seen it last night. People were questioning certain Minnesota Lynx superstars because they were losing to a Caitlin Clark-less Indiana Fever. It was a trending topic. Prize Picks was all over Twitter, draped up. And you just can't help but feel like, man, I hate when I'm watching a game and someone mentions, oh, the over tonight was 6 rebounds for this guy, or he needed 5 3-pointers, and you just go, damn, man, I just wanted to enjoy the game. I didn't want to think about none of this. It's just so ugly of a reminder, the cold reality of how much life is a business. You watch sports for a distraction, and people remind you of the almighty dollar in the game of capitalism. And I don't know how long this can continue for the NBA. How does this work? Me personally, I prefer watching the Emiratis Cup over the playoffs at this point. Because with the Emiratis Cup, there's no records. I don't know if you can bet on the Emiratis Cup, but there's no records. You got young players who normally wouldn't get the time of day during the regular season, but since it doesn't count against the record book, some vets get rested, other vets get to, we got to watch Tyler Smith of the Milwaukee Bucks last year and a couple other of their young prospects That was fun to me. Win, lose, or draw, we got to see some young players who I know belonged on the court. Kyle Ware was getting some initiation into the NBA before he took off, thanks to the Amaratis Cup. And so it's just so much better, when there's a flow, when there's a, you know, uh, equal opportunity environment, and there's not so much politics and record books and what the over under and all the prop betting, that every time something goes wrong, people are raising their eyebrow wondering what was that about, you know and it's not looking good for Beasley, based on who he follows, based on um, the debt that we're hearing he was involved in, some of the highlights. Jamo Smith was making bets one time on campus. They said he was accused, questioned. Quite a few players. I forgot the big time wide receiver for the Titans, who was cleared but was suspected, because you can't be on a NFL training camp grounds if you're not if you're dealing with those kind of things, FanDuel, DraftKings, all that stuff. And so, and you just keep seeing people getting put under suspicion watch and accusations being thrown around. And the league has already got a problem with performance and questionable records and all these other things. People coming out saying Jordan's road stats and home stats were had discrepancies. It's just so much pollution. And wrestling is funny because in wrestling, people go, "Oh, it's staged, it's rigged." You can be staged and rigged because getting slammed from a cage is still getting slammed from a cage. As far as talent wise, the people choose. There's no such thing as an overrated wrestler because you're chosen by the people. If you don't click, it's going to show quickly. But in the NBA, there's less room. There's more room for speculation. Is this guy a plant? It's like, is that guy a plant? What is he? What is he doing? Who is he? Who could have possibly put this guy on a team? Especially with the inorganic influx of international talent being forced upon the pipeline of the NBA, you start wondering, like, yeesh, is this just to push the overseas agenda? Because we all know that the foreign game is growing popular and more players are electing to go overseas to play ball. The tradition, the fans. One of the big reasons why Europe is apprehensive about joining forces with the NBA, because they said they don't want no funny business in their league, and the NBA waters are very murky when it comes to the competition committee. And so we've heard a lot of former international prospects say things. Mario Hezinoza, what part of the game is real? This is what he said, former Orlando Magic. Evan Fournier was talking about the politics. There's a lot of guys who just have uh, low opinions of what the NBA is about. And so this is a issue that's going to continue to plague the league. Adam Silver has to make sure the integrity comes first. You have infinite money. And that's why the rapid transactions, big name players just getting thrown left and right, all of it is very immoral. And not to be the virtue police, but it's very immoral. There's no tradition. There's no players who can spend the rest of their careers with one team. We're seeing Damian Lillard and what happened with the Minnesota deal. Look at Pascal Siakam. He went through all that just to get one game, just to play one series in the finals for the Pacers. And now he's going to be in the land of obliviousness without Tyrese Halliburton. We damn sure know Indiana ain't getting back there next year. Not with Cleveland, not with Orlando stacking up, who just signed Sham God as their assistant coach over from Dallas. We know what he does with guards, and that's their biggest issue. And they fixed that now. Taj Gibson, not Taj Gibson. They just signed the point guard, the floor general. Tyus Jones, formerly of Duke, knows, they got a big connection with Duke, and Pablo Banchero and other guys, but, you know, it makes you wonder, like, how much more can this continue? Because basketball can't afford to have wrestling labels on it. Wrestling can do that. It's a character, it's a personality thing, it's a script. Everything can go fine like that. Who wins and loses can be fake, but can be decided, can be predetermined. But the actual physicality doesn't. But the NBA, on the other hand, sometimes the games, the blowouts, the questionable stat padding, you can't have that on your record if you're a league. And nothing is bigger than the product. Like I was saying for years about Nike and letting them control everything. Now their sales are in the ground, and you have to, fortunately, you got these deals in place, the sports betting, the media, the 700 something odd media deal, where you can weather that storm. But nothing should be bigger than the product. And that's one thing Malik Beasley said on that stream that really truly resonated, and I think echoes the sentiments. No one can be bigger than the foundation of why everyone is there. The sake of the holy covenant of competition must be protected at all costs, or you have nothing. Because I tell you one thing, I'm damn sure not interested in watching synthetic sports in disproportionate rosters and blatant tank jobs for prospects. That's all I got for right now, Utopians. Hope I was informative. Global out.